Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Well, it's actually midnight, so maybe good morning. It's just starting this live stream right at midnight. I was supposed to start this at 11:40 p.m. Central Time, and I'm 20 minutes late, for which I sincerely apologize. I hope you can all hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, my friends. Can you hear me loud and clear? I think the microphone should be working. I think the camera should be working. Just let me know if you can hear me, and I shall continue. It's so good to see our friends. Frank is here. Hello, Frank. Richard is here. Hello, Richard. Evelyn is here. Kay Cooper is here. So good to see you all. Thank you. Kay Cooper says, "Happy Sunday, Tassif." Well, happy Sunday to you, Kay. And once again, what can I say about the wonderful comment that Evelyn just wrote? My friends, I'll let you read it. I'm just- um, eh, thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. I feel like I have a lot to say about that. Um, um, but perhaps I just wait. Maybe I'll wait a little bit to respond to Evelyn's comments. Uh, but I'm going to tell you this. Um, and I've said this before. All the love and support that I get and the vote of confidence, I'm very grateful. I'm very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate, um, as a human being, as an American. Uh, Evelyn says you must be punctual to the podium. LOL. Yeah, I will. That's important to be punctual. Yes, I am. I am punctual. But whenever I start these live streams, I try to maintain time as much as I can. But you know what happens, especially because I do these live streams late in the evening. Um, there are all these little things that come up right before I start the live stream. I just remember, okay, I'm gonna have to make some tea, or something else, or maybe like, um, just put all the plates away or something, after dinner, because it's the end of the evening, right? It's late in the evening when I do these live streams. So what I sometimes do is, all right, I'm going to load the dishwasher or something like that before I start the live stream. And so I get delayed. Um, but Evelyn, your comment, you see that comment where Evelyn says high expectations. Um, She talks about high expectations, right? I'm so grateful. I'm so fortunate. I'm so happy and blessed to have such amazing friends in my life. That's all I can say. That's all I will say for now. I'll have a lot more to say in the near future, but now I'm gonna say I'm very fortunate to have each and every one of you in my life. I really am. This is, you know, this is one of the best parts of my day, truly. In a 24-hour period, this is like such an amazing time when I get to start this live stream and I have all my friends from all over the country, from all over the world, actually, come and join the conversation. Okay. K Cooper writes, but you always look fantastic even this late. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ken is here. Hello, Ken. And I see Jax is also here. Hello, Jax. All right. Evelyn says we are a fine collaboration. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You know who put us here in this conversation? God did, right? God did. It was all predestined. Even 5 years ago, you didn't know me. I didn't know you. 5 years. I mean, go back to 2020. All right. We'll use that as a reference point. Go back to 2020. You didn't know me. I didn't know you. But you know what? As time moved forward, it was all predestined that it was destiny. It was all decided ahead of time that we shall come together. We shall meet. We shall be here and have all these conversations, be in this moment, right? I mean, it was all decided by God. 2020, we didn't know each other. We like, us, everyone, like Evelyn and Frank and Kay and others, Ken, uh, and Crockett. Where's our friend Crockett? I haven't seen our friend Crockett in a while. And there are others. There are so many others, right? Bree and Rachel. So many others. We all came together. It was all decided. It was all decided. Um, and here we are. So God brought us together for a reason, that we shall always tell the truth. And we will tell the truth, and we will promote the facts. Because right now in this world, we see a lot of falsehoods. We see a lot of lies, right? But we shall never stop. We will always keep spreading the truth and the facts. That's our commitment to our own selves. And that's what we are doing. We are fighting back the negative stuff. We're fighting the negative forces. And we are protecting the truth. That's what we are doing. That's the greater mission that we have. Right? Do you agree with me, my friends? Do you agree? Let me know. Caitlin is here. Hello, Caitlin. Did I miss anyone else? Did I miss anyone else, my friends? Ken says 100%. Thank you, Ken. Thanks so much. My friends, today, as you can see, we have a live stream title. It says, A Tale of Three Cities, Immigration Enforcement and Public Safety. So, my friends, let's start the conversation. Give me 1 second. Do you remember what Turbo, our friend Joshua Turbo, said? Do you remember our friend Turbo? I think of Turbo. I think of Turbo quite often. A friend we lost, but Turbo will always live in our hearts. And I think of Turbo, and I think of us, that we make America great. We, the people, right? We, this community. Um, yeah, I think of Turbo, a friend we lost, but he lives in our hearts. So we shall continue to do what we do here. Give me 1 second, my friends. All right. Okay. So let's continue with the conversation today, with the topic today. My friends, what to do about these sanctuary cities? One of the biggest problems we face in the United States right now is the issue of sanctuary cities. And there are some updates regarding these sanctuary cities that I will discuss today. Sanctuary cities, what do these cities do? They protect, illegal immigrants. And sanctuary cities, what they have done is they have crafted a series of policies that prevent local law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration authorities, which is just absolutely unbelievable how this can happen, because law enforcement is law enforcement. Federal, state, local, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you believe in upholding the rule of law, if you are committed to the rule of law, then you are committed to the rule of law, and you must do everything in your power to enforce America's laws, including immigration laws. But sanctuary cities, what they do is they have these policies that prevent cooperation between local and federal law enforcement. Sanctuary policies must be abolished completely. That is what I think. And I'm sure you agree with me. Sanctuary policies, sanctuary city policies that protect illegal immigrants, those sanctuary policies must be abolished. There should not be any sanctuary city policy anywhere in the United States. There should be no sanctuary city policies anywhere in the United States. But sadly, sanctuary policies still exist. The massive influx of illegal immigrants has stopped. And for that, we shall thank President Trump. The massive influx is not taking place anymore. That influx has stopped because our borders are now secure. President Trump has deployed resources and personnel to stop the massive influx of illegal immigrants that we saw during the Biden administration. So that has stopped because the borders are secure. But you know what? It doesn't mean that the sanctuary city policies are gone. In fact, there are many illegal immigrants, many, still hiding in sanctuary cities like Chicago and Los Angeles. And also New York. Let's not forget New York. I said a tale of three cities: Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. And there are others, but we're talking about these three today. Now, what has to be done? What has to be done is we must break down these sanctuary city policies. These policies need to be abolished. Federal agents must go into these sanctuary cities and arrest as many illegal immigrants as possible. Caitlin says, don't forget Boston. Yeah, there are others. Boston. Selena is here. Hi, Selena. Bird is here. Hello, Bird. Boston. There's Boston and there's Denver, and there are others. There's San Francisco. I've not even mentioned San Francisco. If we talk about San Francisco, that has to be a special 2-hour episode. Just talking about San Francisco, and even 2 hours will not be enough. San Francisco has so many problems that we can spend hours and hours talking about San Francisco, but I'm not going to do that now. We're going to talk about Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. It's not enough to just secure the border. Securing the border is just the first step. That's true. But if you think that securing the border will solve all the problems, well, let me tell you, There's more to that. There's a lot more that has to be done. A lot more that has to be done. You secure the border, and then you go and arrest the criminal aliens who are in the US. And the Trump administration is doing a lot of good work. Okay, if you support Trump, if you support what the Trump administration is doing, please write that in the live chat. Just say, I support the Trump administration, and just send a message to the whole world. Send a message to all those people who are watching. Send a message to them and let them know that you support the Trump administration. The Trump administration filed lawsuits against some sanctuary cities. Lawsuit against Chicago, lawsuit against New York, lawsuit against Los Angeles. Let's go through these one by one. Are you ready? We're going to go through these one by one. First, let's talk about Los Angeles. Los Angeles, you know what it is? If somebody says, hey, tell me something about Los Angeles. If you get that question, if somebody just asks you, hey, tell me something about Los Angeles, you know what you should say? You should say, Los Angeles is one of the biggest magnets for illegals. All the illegals are drawn to this one city called Los Angeles. A city on the West Coast, Los Angeles. Illegal immigrants. They're desperate to get to Los Angeles because they feel that they are going to be protected there. We've talked about Karen Bass, right? Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. How would you grade her performance? What would you give her? An A or a B or a C or a D or just a failing grade? Mayor Karen Bass, a proponent of sanctuary policies. On June 30th of 2025, the United States Department of Justice filed a lawsuit. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, took action to stop the nonsense and lawlessness in Los Angeles. Marjorie is here. Hello, Marjorie. Who else is here? There are others. All right. Well, thanks for joining. My friends, make sure you're liking this video as you are tuning in. You got to like the video. So June 30th, the DOJ, Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi took action to stop the nonsense and lawlessness in Los Angeles. And Pam Bondi says, well, actually, let me read to you a statement from DOJ. It says, June 30th, 2025. Today, the Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, California, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, and the Los Angeles City Council over policies that Los Angeles enacted shortly after President Donald J. Trump's re-election to interfere with the federal government's enforcement of its immigration laws. My friends, this is a bold move by the Justice Department, a necessary step, absolutely necessary, and I love what the DOJ is doing. And then, let me continue. This is from the news release from the Department of Justice. It says, not only are Los Angeles's sanctuary city policies illegal under federal law, but as alleged in the complaint, Los Angeles's refusal to cooperate with federal immigration authorities contributed to the recent lawlessness, rioting, looting, and vandalism that was so severe that it required the federal government to deploy the California National Guard and the United States Marines to quell the chaos. You remember that, my friends. Do you remember the bold action, the strong action by President Trump to federalize the California National Guard, to deploy National Guard, to deploy U.S. Marines, because the situation on the ground in Los Angeles was completely out of control. There was chaos and rioting and looting and unrest. It was a severe situation. Kay Cooper remembers. It was so severe. I remember I would watch TV. I would watch TV past midnight. I stayed up real late into the early hours of the morning just watching the news coming from Los Angeles. There was so much of violence and the rioting and the looting. Just imagine you're a business owner trying to do business in the city of Los Angeles. You're running a store or a restaurant or a cafe, and all the rioting, all the lawlessness and the looting. How would you feel as a business owner in Los Angeles? How would you feel as a resident of Los Angeles, and all you want to do is live in peace, raise a family, live in a safe neighborhood, in a safe community? And it was the ultimate nightmare for the people of Los Angeles, including a lot of business owners. There was a lot of property damage. A lot of property damage. All the graffiti. Do you remember seeing all the graffiti? And this is what the rioters do. They have all the graffiti. They spray paint, they do whatever, and they destroy property. If you own a building or a store, and you just see that there's graffiti all over the wall of your establishment, how would you feel? So President Trump took strong action to address that crisis. And we are very happy with Pam Bondi. Very happy with Pam Bondi, okay? And I know that if you are in a position like that, if you are, a cabinet secretary, if you are the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Homeland Security, if you are the Secretary of State, if you are the Attorney General, in any leadership position, people are subject to a lot of criticism. You get elevated to a leadership position. You're now a member of a president's cabinet, and there's going to be a flood of criticism. No matter what you do, there'll always be people who are unhappy and they are criticizing. I mean, criticism is good, because if somebody criticizes you, then that lets you maybe improve, right? Maybe you're performing in a certain way, and then you hear criticisms, and now you know that you need to do a lot more, or maybe you need to do something different. So constructive criticism is good. But if it's just criticism for the sake of criticism, that's not helpful. If somebody's criticizing you because the person doesn't like you, it's not constructive criticism. It's just whatever you do, there's somebody out there criticizing you. That's not helpful. So Pam Bondi, obviously being the Attorney General, she's facing a lot of criticism. But I'm going to tell you that Pam Bondi is doing a great job. Okay? I mean, do you agree with me? I think she's doing a great job. And if you think that, oh, she's not that great, she's not doing a great job, well, my friends, let me tell you, all you have to do is go back and look at the attorneys general that we had in the past. Just a few of them. Think about Merrick Garland. Okay? Do you like Merrick Garland as the attorney general? Remember Merrick Garland? How about that? Do you remember Jeff Sessions? We're going to keep Merrick Garland aside because Merrick Garland was he was in power during the Biden administration. But what about Jeff Sessions? Jeff Sessions was there when President Trump was in office for the first time. Jeff Sessions was there for a while. Did you like Jeff Sessions? No. No. Initially, we had a lot of confidence. I did. Like, oh, yeah, Jeff Sessions is going to do a great job. But we ended up being so disappointed with Jeff Sessions. You remember Jeff Sessions, right? I mean, it seemed like, oh, this is going to be a great conservative guy. He's a Republican. He's going to be a great as an attorney general. We have high hopes. And then what did Jeff Sessions do? Did he meet the expectations that we had? And what about the others? Eric Holder. Shall we talk about Eric Holder? That's going to be a long episode if we start talking about Eric Holder. So, you talk about Merrick Garland, you talk about Jeff Sessions, you talk about Eric Holder, and there were others who were not great, who were not good. Okay? I mean, Merrick Garland probably. What would you say about Merrick Garland? I mean, who do you think gets a worse grade, Merrick Garland or Eric Holder? Freshly is here. Hi, Freshly. Good to see you. So anyway, when you look at some of the attorneys general that we had in the past, and then you look at Pam Bondi and the work that she is doing, I think she's doing an excellent job. And I know that President Trump is very happy with, Pam Bondi as the attorney general. Now, my friends, you let me know if you're happy with Pam Bondi's performance as the attorney general. Okay, let me know. I think she's doing great. I think President Trump made the right decision in choosing Pam Bondi. So anyway, let's go back to talking about lawsuits. Lawsuit against Los Angeles. And the goal is to free the people of Los Angeles from this captivity of illegal immigration. The lawful residents and U.S. citizens living in Los Angeles do not have freedom in their own community because of the lawlessness perpetrated by illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are spreading lawlessness, and lawful residents and U.S. citizens living in Los Angeles are not feeling safe in their own community. They're not enjoying freedom in their own community. Los Angeles is being held hostage by the illegal immigrants. And President Trump will solve this crisis. He's going to address this crisis. And if you talk to the people of Los Angeles, you will know that they are desperately in need of help from the Trump administration. Talk to the people of Los Angeles. Anyone from Los Angeles here today? Anyone? If you're watching this and you're from Los Angeles, please let us know. The people of Los Angeles overwhelmingly want illegals to be deported. The people of Los Angeles want law and order. The people of Los Angeles want to see ICE agents catching the criminals. But the ICE agents are not getting the cooperation that they need from local officials in Los Angeles. Local officials in Los Angeles are supporting illegal immigrants and not the ICE agents. They do not cooperate with ICE. And so Pam Bondi is doing what the people want. She is restoring law and order, and she is doing it because the Trump administration is committed to restoring law and order. So let's see what happens. But now, my friends, we talked about Los Angeles. The next city I'm going to be talking about is New York. Oh my God. What can I say about New York? What am I going to say about New York? I have so much to say. I don't know where I'm going to start. Should we just end the live stream here now? Should we just end the live stream? I mean, do you want me to talk about New York? There's so much to say. I don't know where to start. I mean, you can say toss if that's it. You know what? We know what's going on in New York. Let's just end the conversation. No. Well, you know what? I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about New York. New York is another illegal immigrant magnet. But things in New York are very different because Eric Adams, the mayor, the current mayor, up for re-election, the current mayor, Eric Adams, he has shown signs of cooperation. He has shown an interest in working with the Trump administration. He has shown an interest in cooperating with Tom Homan, border czar. By the way, it's going to be a very tough re-election battle for Eric Adams. It's a tough four-way race, I think. I mean, how many candidates are there? I think four-way, right? There's Eric Adams, there's Andrew Cuomo, there's Curtis Sliwa, and there's Zoran Mamdani. And this guy, Mamdani, if he wins, then the New York economy will be completely destroyed. The New York economy is going to be gone. The New York City economy. The housing market will be gone. Private businesses will be gone if Mamdani wins, okay? New York, I don't know what you're going to do. Are you going to elect Zoran Mamdani? If Mamdani is elected, socialist? Is he a socialist or is he a full swing communist? People say, oh, democratic socialism. Ah, democratic social. What does that even mean? That is utter nonsense. Democratic socialism. With Zoran Mamdani, what will New York City get? A full dose of communism. If Mamdani becomes the mayor of New York, you will see the biggest exodus. You will see people leaving New York City. People will be packing up and leaving New York City, and they will take their businesses with them. If Mamdani becomes the mayor of New York City, you're going to see starting on day one and maybe even before the swearing in ceremony of the new mayor, you're going to see New Yorkers leaving the city of New York. Jet is here. Hi, Jet. Jet, good to see you. Derek is here. Hello, Derek. Thanks for being here, Derek. So New Yorkers have an important decision to make this year at the ballot box. Who are you going to select? Are you going to select Zoran Mamdani? If he becomes the mayor, the New York City economy will be destroyed. So anyway, let's talk about this lawsuit that the Trump administration filed. This lawsuit that was filed this month, just a few days ago. This is a lawsuit over New York City's sanctuary laws. The Justice Department, US DOJ, filed a lawsuit against New York City, Mayor Eric Adams, and several other officials to challenge New York's sanctuary city laws. My friends, the sanctuary laws in New York City resulted in many crimes and widespread fear, and it is time to abolish the sanctuary laws in New York City. And Attorney General Pam Bondi said, New York City has released thousands of criminals on the streets to commit violent crimes against law abiding citizens due to sanctuary city policies. If New York City won't stand up for the safety of its citizens, we will. And so Attorney General Pam Bondi is taking action. My friends, I'm going to do something now. I'm going to share with you some thoughts that I have about New York City and what I believe should be happening. Are you ready to hear my thoughts? Are you ready to hear my thoughts? Here's what I would like to see in New York City. I'm sharing my personal opinion as an American. This is what I think should be happening in New York City. I'm going to share that with you, but I want you to please pay attention and listen to me. Jamie is here. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Jamie. All right. I'm going to share this with you. Give me 1 second. Frank, thank you, Frank. Here's what I would like to see in New York City. I would like to see ICE agents going block by block by block, doing raids and catching illegal immigrants. Block by block by block. Do immigration enforcement and catch the illegal aliens. Block by block by block, all over New York City. All those criminal aliens who are hiding in New York, they must be arrested. And the way to do that would be to go block by block by block all over the city. There should be a special operation. Literally go block by block and catch all the illegal aliens. What do you think about my idea? One reason why the illegal immigrants feel so empowered and so strong in New York City is because of the employers who hire illegal immigrants. That's a big part of the problem. The employers who hire illegal immigrants in New York City, it's a big issue. There are many employers in New York City that provide an unfair advantage to the illegals. They hire the illegals, they pay less wages, and they pay cash. It's off the books. There's no record of it. And those employees, the illegal immigrant employees, they're completely off the books. They don't appear on paperwork. They work for cash. And the dishonest employers try to evade paying benefits because if they hired US citizens, they'd be paying benefits. So they hire illegals, keep them completely off the books. And in the process, American workers get left out. Evelyn, do you like my idea? Is that what you're saying, Evelyn? Evelyn says, I like your idea. Is that you're referring to the idea I just presented? Let me know. Let me know, Evelyn. Simon is here. Hello, Simon. Thanks for being here. Christine is here. Christine, I don't agree with your comment, Christine. I don't agree with your comment. American workers are some of the hardest working people in the world. The kind of hard work that the American people do. And that's why we have the greatest country in the world, because of the American workers, because of the American people. And you know what? When I say American workers, I'm also including legal immigrants who came to the United States legally and became citizens. When I say American workers are hard workers, when I say American workers are honest workers, I'm talking about people from v- various backgrounds, people with different skin color, people from various religious backgrounds, people who look different from each other. I am talking about a diverse workforce that we have in the United States. You look at the American workforce, you look at the American workers, you take 100 American workers and you look at that group of 100 workers, you're going to see different skin color. You're going to see people following different religions. You're going to see people who are from different walks of life. Christine's here. Christine, good to see you. That's YIME. That's the screen name. Derek, thank you, Derek. Why do we have the greatest country in the world? And there are many other people in other countries who will agree, who will say, yeah, America, you got the greatest country in the world. Yeah, because we are the global leader. Why do people from all over the world want to come to the US? Because we have the greatest country in the world. There's no doubt about that. There are many non Americans, there are many people who have never been to America who will agree and say that, yes, the US is the global leader, is the greatest country in the world. It's a fact. I'm an immigrant. I came to the US. I came to the greatest country in the world. I was not born here, but now this is my home. It's the greatest country in the world. So American workers are not lazy. I'm an American worker. I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm an American worker. I'm in the American workforce. And there are so many others. People who came from all over the world and now they are Americans. And people who are born here, they're Americans by birth. We are not lazy. We're not lazy. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate that, Kay. So, my friends, the employers in New York City, not all employers, but many employers, a large number of employers in New York City contributed to making this problem worse. All those employers who had the opportunity to hire an American worker, but instead of hiring an American worker, they hired an illegal immigrant, paid less money in cash. There's no record of that employee in the books. And those employers, they helped create an underground economy of illegal immigrant workers. Those employers helped create the crisis that we have today. My friends in New York, are you listening to me? Armani is here. Armani from Houston, good to see you. Thanks for joining. My friends watching from New York, do you agree with me? If you live in Brooklyn, if you live in the Bronx, if you live in Queens, you know what I'm talking about. Freshly. Freshly is from New York. Freshly, you know what I'm talking about, right? You go to Queens, you go to the Bronx, you go to Brooklyn, you are going to find lots of employers hiring illegal immigrant workers rather than hiring US citizen workers, rather than hiring legal immigrant workers. They are hiring illegal immigrants. And what is that doing to the American workers? So the employers, so all those employers, they are dishonest, dishonest employers. They are a huge part of the problem. Those employers helped make New York City the sanctuary that it is now, the sanctuary for illegal immigrants. All those employers who hired illegal immigrants contributed to the crisis. All those employers. And I'm talking about Brooklyn, I'm talking about the Bronx, I'm talking about Queens. I mean, Queens is unbelievable. Queens is unbelievable. You go to New York, you go to Queens. That place, when you look at the illegal immigration situation, that place is a complete mess. Queens. Do you agree with me, my friends? My New Yorker friends, let me know. And that's why I'm saying that ICE to go. ICE needs to go and do block by block by block immigration enforcement raids. Freshly is saying Queens is out of control. Exactly, Freshly. I know that Queens is out of control. I know about that place. That place, it's a disaster. You'll find some of the worst problems in Queens, New York. ICE needs to go and do operation block by block by block. ICE needs to clean up that city and restore law and order. Restore law and order in New York City. And it should happen as soon as possible. How long are we going to wait? How long are we going to wait? We have suffered for so many years. We have suffered for a really long time. We, the American people. Now, some might say, hey, you don't live in New York. What are you complaining about? Well, I may not live in New York, but New York is an American city. I care about New York. I care about Chicago. I care about Los Angeles. I care about Denver. I care about San Francisco. I care about all these places because these are all American cities. So the Trump administration sued New York City and Mayor Adams and other city officials. And now Eric Adams is saying that he cannot just roll back the city's sanctuary law. I mean, these Democrat politicians, they always have excuses. Always. Eric Adams is saying, he's the mayor of New York City, and he's saying that any modification in the law must come through the city council. Great. So that means that the sanctuary city law cannot change because we know that the city council is full of left wing politicians. If you are saying, if Eric Adams is saying, oh, any modification in the law has to come through the city council, basically the message is, hey, sanctuary city policies are here to stay in New York City. You can't change them. That is the message that Eric Adams is sending. I mean, you know what? I don't know what to say about Eric Adams. I mean, these Democrats, I mean, he may say that he's an independent running for mayor. Okay? He's an independent, but he's still a Democrat. And he just has an excuse. Okay? This guy is not trustworthy. I know he kind of expressed he wants to work with Tom Homan, he wants to work with the Trump administration, he wants to work with the border czar, but this guy is not trustworthy. I have zero confidence in anything that Eric Adams says. Zero confidence. Do you think he's even trying to change the sanctuary city policies? I mean, what an excuse. Oh, any modification has to come through the city council. Are you even trying to change anything? I mean, are you, we need to see some honest efforts from Eric Adams. Even if it has to go through the city council, he is the mayor. He has a voice. He can stand at a podium and use some strong language to send a message. Is he that? Is he doing that? Eric Adams cannot be trusted. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do in the mayoral election, who to vote for in New York. One person you absolutely must stay away from, one person that you never should vote for, is Zoran Mamdani. If you vote for Zoran Mamdani, if you are a New York City voter, you vote for Zoran Mamdani, you're basically asking for communism. Because that's what you're going to get if Zoran Mamdani is elected mayor. Eric Adams, the incumbent mayor, when Trump came to office, I was being a little hopeful that, yeah, maybe Eric Adams is now going to work with the Trump administration and solve the problems facing New York City. But you know what? When I see him making excuses, I can't trust him anymore. I can't trust him anymore. Paul is here. Hello, Paul. What an excuse. Any modification must come through the city council. Then what are you doing as a mayor? Yeah, okay, I get it, but you can use your voice, you can use your influence, you can send a strong message, you can do a state of the city speech or a special speech or something, publicize it and just say that you as a mayor completely agree with the Trump administration. And you know what? Eric Adams, he can even change parties. Why hasn't he done that? Yeah, he sort of became an independent for election purposes, but he's still a Democrat. If he really has a change of mind, he can become a Republican. He can openly say that. Gianna is here. Hi, Gianna. Good to see you. Toby is here. Hello, Toby. More and more people are coming. Thank you, my friends. So, as I said, the approach for New York City should be block by block by block enforcement operation. Go block by block by block. ICE agents should go block by block by block and do enforcement operation. Look what happened in New York City. You've heard about this already. An off duty Customs and Border Patrol officer was shot in New York City. And reportedly, the defendants are in the United States illegally. And if these illegals are not deported swiftly, if these illegals are not deported in large numbers, if mass deportation doesn't take place, then our country's future and our health and our safety are at risk. So, New York City should be the number one priority of ICE. And I say ICE should go into Queens and the Bronx and Brooklyn. My friends, I asked a question in the live chat window, as you can see. I'm conducting a poll. And the question is, do you support the Trump administration's decision to file lawsuits against sanctuary cities? And overwhelmingly, people are saying yes. People are saying yes. We support the Trump administration's decision to file lawsuits against sanctuary cities. Well, thank you. Thank you, my friends. The poll is still open, so if you have not voted, please do so. Now, we've talked about New York. Would you like me to talk about the Windy City, Chicago? Do you want me to talk about Chicago? Do you want me to talk about Chicago? Or are you going to say, hey, Tossif, we talked about Los Angeles and New York. We don't want to hear about Chicago. Let me know if you want me to talk about Chicago. Chicago is the closest city to me when you look at all three. Los Angeles is on the West Coast. New York is in the East Coast. Chicago is not too far from me. I go to Chicago quite a bit. Doesn't take too long, 2.5 hours in the car if there's no busy traffic. I go to Chicago quite a bit. I love the city. I got to tell you that, I love the city, but the city is suffering because of illegal immigration. There needs to be ICE operation, more and more ICE operation in Chicago. Because the people of Chicago, they need freedom, which they don't have right now. When illegal immigrants are running around committing crimes in Chicago, the law-abiding people of Chicago are suffering. They're afraid to go home. They're afraid to leave their homes and go outside. They're afraid to drive. They're afraid to walk on the sidewalk. They're afraid to walk at night. Because, illegal immigrants are committing crimes in Chicago. Illegal immigrants are committing crimes. And when illegal immigrants commit crimes, then the law-abiding citizens suffer. Freedom is diminished. If you are afraid to go out, if you're afraid to go into a certain neighborhood or to go out at a certain time of the day, if you are afraid to walk because illegal immigrants are committing crimes, then where's your freedom? So we need to restore freedom in the city of Chicago by deporting the illegal aliens. So let's talk about Chicago. The Trump administration back in February had filed a lawsuit against the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. Why? Because Illinois and Chicago protect illegals by trying to interfere with the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. There's a judge, there's a judge who is actually a Joe Biden appointee. And this is a judge in the Northern District of Illinois. And the judge, looking at that lawsuit that the Trump administration filed, that judge ruled in favor of the defendants in the case, meaning the judge ruled against the Trump administration. The judge, the Biden appointed judge, ruled against the Trump administration. What else can you expect from Biden appointed judges? Are you shocked? What else can you expect from the Biden appointed judges? The judge reportedly said that the decision by Chicago to have these sanctuary laws is protected by the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment. What does the 10th Amendment say? The 10th Amendment says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So the judge, this Biden appointed judge, is basically saying that Chicago's sanctuary policies are protected by the 10th Amendment. So this is basically, this is what you see when judges act as activists. When judges are engaging in politics. So a lawless city like Chicago can enact lawless policies. That's basically the interpretation of this judge's decision. That is basically the interpretation of this judicial decision coming from a Biden appointed judge, that a lawless city like Chicago can enact lawless policies. My friends, keep in mind that the people of Chicago are suffering each and every day. There's a lot of pain and suffering in Chicago. There are a lot of people who desperately need help, but they're not getting the help that they need because the politicians are busy helping the illegals. Chicago is suffering because of the burden of illegal immigration. When I go to Chicago, I can see that. You can see people. You can look at their faces. You can see the pain that they're in. You can see the fear and the worry in Chicago. I want to see Chicago as a successful, prosperous city. I want to see the people of Chicago happy. I want to see that the Chicago neighborhoods are safe. But to achieve all that, we must first deport the illegals. Deport the illegals from Chicago and from New York and from Los Angeles and from San Francisco and from Denver and from Boston. My friends, this decision by a Biden appointed judge, this decision by this judge is bad for the future of Chicago. But you know what? There's somebody who's very happy. There's someone who is very, very happy after learning about this decision. You know who that is? Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson seems to be very pleased with the court decision. The Democrats, they call Chicago a welcoming city. Welcoming for who? That is my question. You call Chicago a welcoming city. Welcoming for who? Welcoming for criminal aliens? Because we have seen criminal aliens going to Chicago, entering the US and going to Chicago. Why do so many criminal aliens choose Chicago? Why do they feel so emboldened in Chicago, these criminal aliens? Why do the illegals love Chicago so much? Because of Chicago's sanctuary city policies. And because of the massive population of illegal immigrants, American citizens are living in fear in Chicago. Chicago, a welcoming city. Welcoming for who? It's not very welcoming for law abiding people. In fact, many people are leaving Chicago. They are going to other cities, other states. They don't want to live in Chicago anymore. Selena is saying, imagine Lori Lightfoot still in charge. Selena, let me tell you, people thought that Lori Lightfoot was a bad mayor. And yes, she was. She was a very bad mayor, okay? A completely failed mayor, Lori Lightfoot. But you know what? People thought, oh, Lori Lightfoot is a complete failure. So we're going to elect someone who can actually get things done. And the people of Chicago ended up with a far worse mayor. Brandon Johnson is probably the worst mayor in the history of Chicago. If I'm wrong, you can point out. You can say, Tossif, no, he's not the worst. He's the worst, Brandon Johnson. Lori Lightfoot was bad. She was worse than the previous mayors. But Brandon Johnson is the worst. But Brandon Johnson seems to be very pleased with the court decision. So, my friends, the battle is not over yet. Anytime there's an unfavorable court decision, it's just a setback. It's just a temporary obstacle. I'm very confident that there will be enforcement operations in Chicago. I'm very confident that the illegal immigrants in Chicago will soon realize that they cannot hide forever. In fact, many are not even hiding because, sanctuary city. Many illegal immigrants are, you know, they're having a lot of fun in Chicago. They're enjoying life in Chicago because they feel protected because of the sanctuary city policies. They don't have any fear. And so ICE must deploy resources and personnel and do operations in Chicago. I would love to see news coming out of Chicago every day. I would love to read headlines that say ICE arrested 1,000 illegal immigrants in Chicago. That's the kind of headline I want to see. ICE arrested 500, ICE arrested 1,000, ICE arrested 2,000 in Chicago. That's what I want to read. Those are the kinds of headlines I want to see every day. I want to I want to hear about ICE arresting large numbers of illegal immigrants in Chicago. My friends, let me know if you agree with whatever I'm saying. Let me know, my friends. Let me know your thoughts. So, there's something that we learned from this whole thing, this unfavorable court decision, this decision by a Biden appointed judge. It just tells us that the Democrats have injected politics in the court system. The judiciary is supposed to be fair and impartial, but that's not the case when you have Obama and Biden appointed judges. The Obama and the Biden appointed judges prioritize politics. They prioritize politics and they inject their political bias into a judicial decision making. The Obama and the Biden appointed judges. So I talked to you about three cities. I talked about Los Angeles. I talked about New York. I talked about Chicago. There are crises in these cities, but you know what? The Trump administration is going to do whatever necessary, whatever they can do using their legal authority to make America safe again by deporting the illegals. Make America safe again. So, my friends, I'm going to end the poll and report the results. The question was, do you support the Trump administration's decision to file lawsuits against sanctuary cities? Out of 112 votes, 58% said yes. So 58% of the respondents believe, 58% of the respondents support the Trump administration's decision to file lawsuits against sanctuary cities. Okay. Gianna, so good to see you, Gianna. Always wonderful to see Gianna. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. So, my friends, that's all for today. 1 hour and 13 minutes into the live stream. I started this late, so I'm going to end this. But I'm going to be back again with more videos and more live stream. And my friends, I want to see more mass deportation, more mass deportation. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this topic and other topics. Edwin, good to see you. Thank you, my friends. So I'm going to end this. Uh, End this now. I'm going to end this live stream. Wish I could do um, a longer one, but I already had a long day, so I'm going to try to go get some rest. So thank you, my friends. I appreciate you all being here. Please make sure that you're liking this video. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. And please share. Please share this video. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Thank you, my friends. Simon, thank you so very much. And others, thank you. All right. Have a wonderful night. And I'm going to be back again with more videos and more live stream. And please remember that this is the channel where we discuss social and political issues, both domestic and international. So, with that, my friends, may God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless our Republican leaders in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom loving people all over the world. With that, thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful night, and I'm going to see you very soon. Thank you.